The Scope Management Plan is one of the PMI's 78 project management artifacts. In this video, we use a real-world case study to show how the Scope Management Plan can prevent project failure. We'll break down what a Scope Management Plan is and unpack its essential components. Plus, stay tuned until the end, where I'll reveal its true strategic power in real-world execution. For any project manager, it is the ultimate nightmare. You get handed a high-profile project, and because you want to impress management, you rush into project execution. On the surface, everything looks good. Machinery is moving, construction crews are active, and your daily updates radiate rapid progress. But just as you start gaining confidence, a wave of unapproved technical additions, conflicting client requirements, and massive budget overruns completely destroys your project baseline. This happens because many project managers treat scope as flexible and fluid, rushing ahead without locking down formal boundaries or governance structures to keep the delivery team aligned. Join us as we explore how the three core pillars of a scope management plan, the scope baseline, validation protocols, and change governance, discussed in detail later, could have saved this high-stakes project from ultimate disaster. Consider BioHarvest Agritech, an advanced commercial vertical farming company. To secure a multi-million-dollar long-term supply agreement with national supermarket chains, they approve a $45 million expansion to construct a fully automated, climate-controlled, high-tech greenhouse park. They appoint an eager project manager to lead this high-stakes delivery. Wanting to demonstrate rapid progress to management, the project manager skips the formal development of a scope management plan and dives directly into physical construction and software procurement. He swiftly orders steel framing structures and mobilizes automated robotics installation teams. However, because he rushed past formal scope baselining and change governance, absolute disaster strikes during physical installation. The client's commercial retail team casually requests an unapproved upgrade to the environmental control software to include real-time artificial intelligence yield forecasting. At the same time, the engineering team adds custom high-density LED lighting arrays to boost production, completely unaware that the primary electrical infrastructure cannot support the additional power draw. Because there are no explicit scope exclusions, no work breakdown structure dictionary, and no formal change control board, the project grinds to a complete standstill for 16 weeks during a structural redesign and software overhaul. The company incurs $35,000 a day in contractor fines, and the $45 million budget is shattered by an $8 million overrun. Rather than delivering a breakthrough, the project manager is dragged before management to explain a disaster that threatens his career. Finding yourself in a situation like this can completely undermine your confidence and credibility. If you have ever looked at the PMBOK's project management artifacts, like scope management plans, and felt completely overwhelmed, I want you to stop and take a breath. I have been through those situations. It is easy to look at these governance documents as administrative distractions that slow down real work on the ground. But the truth is, the scope management plan is there to help you, the project manager, and it is there to protect the business. Let us break down how a robust scope management plan works using its three core operational pillars: the scope baseline architecture, the scope validation protocols, and the scope control and change governance. First, we have the scope baseline architecture. The scope baseline consists of three mandatory elements: the project scope statement, the work breakdown structure, or WBS, and the WBS dictionary. The scope statement explicitly defines project boundaries and, most importantly, explicit exclusions. The WBS decomposes the total project into manageable work packages under the strict 100% rule. The 100% rule states that the WBS must encompass 100% of the work defined by the project's scope. The WBS dictionary provides detailed narrative descriptions, acceptance criteria, and technical constraints for every single deliverable. At BioHarvest Agritech, the lack of a WBS dictionary meant the software engineers and electrical contractors were working off conflicting assumptions, allowing the unapproved lighting upgrade to blow out the power grid. But the scope baseline architecture means nothing without the scope validation protocols. These protocols define the formal checkpoints, quality criteria, and sign-off procedures through which key stakeholders inspect and formally accept completed deliverables throughout the lifecycle. Without clear validation protocols, clients and internal teams continuously push for gold plating, adding extra unrequested features that eat away at your contingency margins. In our greenhouse scenario, the lack of milestone validation allowed the retail team to quietly insert artificial intelligence forecasting features without evaluating the technical impact on the core software architecture. And finally, a good scope management plan needs to enforce strict scope control and change governance. This specifies the exact workflow for managing requested modifications. Every proposed change must be formally documented, evaluated for schedule and cost impact, and submitted to a designated change control board before any execution begins. Our project manager completely ignored this workflow, allowing silent scope additions to accumulate until the total budget exploded. Let's now replay this scenario with the project manager starting off differently. Before signing suppliers' contracts or ordering automation equipment, the project manager spends the initial weeks building a comprehensive scope management plan. He works closely with the agricultural scientists, software engineers, and commercial retail teams to establish a verified scope baseline. He clearly documents custom artificial intelligence features as out of scope for Phase 1, defines detailed work package acceptance criteria in the WBS dictionary, and establishes a formal change control board. A few months into execution, when the commercial team requests the real-time yield forecasting feature, the transition is completely different. The modification is immediately routed through the formal change control workflow. The project manager presents an impact assessment showing the extra cost and schedule delay. Management elects to defer the feature to a secondary phase, keeping the core project fully on track. Physical installation finishes without a single day of unapproved delay, saving the business millions of dollars in penalty fees and protecting the capital investment. Management take notice. The project manager is praised not just as a functional coordinator who tracks daily tasks, but as a competent strategic leader who secures operational success, aligns the project team, and drives real corporate value. Here is the most important takeaway from this video. A scope management plan is not just another project management compliance requirement. It is your ultimate active governance framework that guards your project boundaries, eliminates costly scope creep, and guarantees the structured delivery of real business value.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel to ensure you never miss our weekly strategies.
Thank you for watching. Mastering your scope management plan is just the beginning. Click the video on your screen right now to learn how it integrates into the overarching project management plan and see exactly what the PMI says this professional blueprint should look like.